Yo, what is going on, Cover One crew? Welcome back to the show. Week 2 is in the books. What a thrilling Monday Night Football contest it was. Those Falcons, the Dirty Birds, shocked the Eagles after Barkley dropped that pass, and the defense could not make a stop on that last drive. Kirk Cousins looked good on that last drive. Yes, there was a lot of open wide receivers and poor defense, but we got to talk about what? Week 3, waiver wire must-add players. We're not here talking about Monday Night Football. We're talking about players we need to add because the injury bug hit the NFL in a very big way, and we got to replace a lot of players. There is no question. Cooper Kupp to IR to add to the Puka Nacua. We lost to what? Isaiah Pacheco. So many injuries down the board. So let's talk about these running backs. First one on the board, we got to talk MJ Pirine. Kansas City Chiefs, they got Kareem Hunt also in for a visit. You got the rookie Carson Steele. I mean, it's going to be very difficult in this Kansas City Chiefs offense. This is why, okay? You go back to my videos, and I'm not promotive of the fact of saying, I was right because Pacheco went down, but that was part of my assessment. Because he runs so violently, eventually his body's going to end up breaking down. That's just the biggest problem in why I had this offseason saying his ADP was too high. Even though he was putting up the stats when he was running the football, it was just too much risk for me based on how he runs the football. I mean, we've seen this story so many times, and who do we pick up in this offense? It's got to be Pirine for me because it is the veteran experience. It is who they might go to, but it might be short-lived. They might be doing a massive three-headed monster split backfield here in Kansas City now, and they may throw the football a lot. But first, kick at the cans, got to be Pirine. In my opinion, do not blow entire fab dollars because God knows if Kareem Hunt looks anything, at all reminiscent of him being able to be a football player, he's going to get touches because you know that Andy Reid is familiar with him and knows how to use him. So Pirine on lower fab dollars, but still my top running back this week. Bucky Irving, he sees, 41% ownership right now, 10.8 points. Reason being, I mean, these running backs are going down like flies, and we saw that Rachaad White was dealing with an injury in that contest as well. Bucky is a must-add player at this point. Like I've been telling y'all with Rachaad White, he's a good running back in the open field, but in the behind the line of scrimmage, for some reason, he is really struggling to find those holes, and there is lack of burst. Bucky Irving is giving a great change of pace in an offense in Tampa Bay that is humming along. Bucky Irving definitely needs to be a priority running back. Ty Chandler showcased the fact of what I said this offseason. They will eventually start splitting touches, and we did see it as the game did wear on the latter stages. Aaron Jones still the number one back in this offense, but Ty Chandler is a definite must-own if you have room in your running back, stable and on your bench. Definitely needs to be owned at this point, 40%. He will likely get scooped up over the 50% threshold this week. Cam Akers, 2% or 3% ownership. And it's only, we got to wait and see. But, I mean, your waiver wire is going to be coming up on Tuesday evening. So I'm telling y'all, if you have room and you have Joe Mixon, abso-freaking-lutely, you got to go get Cam Akers on your bench to hedge bet just in case. Even though Mixon did come back in that contest, we'll see how it does shake down. Mixon's a tough SOB, man. If he's good enough to come back, he's likely good enough to play. But, I mean, there is some issues. If you got room, definitely handcuff him with a Cam Akers. Dameon Pierce dealing with an injury as well. So Cam Akers has looked okay as well. I actually like the handcuff for Cam Akers. Braylon Allen, my dude. I'm going to highlight the video at the end for the scouting report that I put out for a Braylon Allen. He was my number 2 running back coming out of this draft class. I love me some Braylon Allen. I loved his game. Everybody that was cussing me down saying, oh, he's not agile enough, he's too big. He's so good, man. He's like a lesser Derrick Henry. Yes, he doesn't have the greatest hand. Saw some drops this past week, but he is an absolute battering ram with wheels, and he is extremely difficult to bring down. They will eventually start splitting a little bit more touches. We saw, 18 points this past week from a Braylon Allen, 2 tutties. He's absolutely going to see more carries in this offense to help, ease the pressure off of Aaron Rodgers. He needs to be owned as well. And if Breece goes down, you got a running back 110% in a Braylon Allen. Carson Steele, like I said, there is potential opportunity, but again, I'm not spending massive fab dollars on this Kansas City Chiefs offense or running backs right now until we see a clearer picture. D'Onta Foreman, he did take over, which was weird in that contest as Jerome Ford was running well, and in the second half, it was all D'Onta Foreman. It was weird. I guess, the game was getting out of hand, and they were able to do that, but I didn't like the splits whatsoever. Jerome Ford has been playing extremely well, running extremely well as well. giving Deontay Foreman the touches was very strange. Strong is also out with an injury, so Foreman is, at least worthy of a consideration pickup this week as well if you're hurting at the running back spot. Isaac Guerrero, San Francisco 49ers, now that CMC has been placed on the injured reserve, we got to have the backup appeal. If Jordan Mason goes down, who's going to be taking the touches, man? It's going to be likely Guerrero. He is a good running back as well. Didn't get a lot of touches, didn't get a lot of trust from a Kyle Shanahan, and that's what it's all about. If Kyle trusts you, you make a couple plays, you will get more touches. Guerrero is definitely on the watch list. Ray Davis did see a little bit of work. James Cook absolutely cooked the fish last week, and it's going to continue. Ray Davis, he did see some time in the latter stages of that contest versus the Miami Dolphins, and his role should increase as we get to week 5, 6, 7. So if you got James Cook you want to handcuff, absolutely at this point, he's on my watch list. Tyler Algier. Yes, it is B. John Robinson. It's 9.1 points after the Monday Night Football contest for an Algier. He's getting some touches at least, and that is, positive for anybody that's looking for some, deeper league running back. But, at this point, Algier, I'm going to keep him on the wire. He is on my watch list at this point. But, again, if Bijan goes down, Algier is your primary pickup. So, if you want a hedge bet, absolutely, Algier is here. Right from Miami Dolphins, depending on the health of Raheem Mostert, we saw Achane absolutely, take the multitude of touches in that backfield versus the Buffalo Bills. No Tua Tagovailoa likely with the concussion problem. He might be out for quite some time. Who's going to play Skylar Thompson, or is it going to be Tyler Huntley? We'll see how that does shake down. Obviously, Thompson's been there long enough. Likely going to get the start. So, Wright is definitely one of these guys you can absolutely look to. He hasn't seen much time on the field yet, but again, Achane goes down. Raheem Mostert already dealing with injuries. He's going to get a massive workload if those guys do go down. Emmanuel Wilson with Josh Jacobs, overworked 30-plus carries, 150 yards, but he had that fumble. Killed us on the top-end point totals. Wilson is definitely one you got to keep in mind just in case, Jordan Love still is out for the 2 to 4 weeks, and they're going to have to continue to run the football. The splits could come. Right now, he is down my board. I'm not picking him up just yet. Just keep him on the watch list as well. Quarterbacks, Derek Carr looks absolutely rejuvenated. I guess all it took was my dude, Spencer Rattler, to light a fire under his ass, and now he's playing like one of the best quarterbacks in the league right now. 51 points, 21% ownership for a Derek Carr. If you've lost a quarterback right now, and you got to stream. If you've lost Love, you lost Tua. Derek Carr is absolutely the easy fill-in right now. Those New Orleans Saints looks absolutely stupendous. And like I was saying again, I'm going to take every opportunity to do a victory lap when I say Alvin Kamara, baby. I told you I'll top 10 running back this year, and he is killing it. I just love what the Saints are doing right now. Geno Smith, 23%. He's got 35 points almost. And the Seahawks are moving in the right direction. What did I love last week? I said in start sit, I said, I'm going to bench a JSN, but he's probably going to go off. That's what I said to you guys, and he went off. And I said, I don't care. I'm going to still be smiling because he went off. And I said, if you guys could start him. But JSN, to me, is one of these guys that's got to take the next leap, and it was absolutely stupendous what we were able to see. DK Metcalf did get into the end zone early, and then it was all of Gonzo covering up a DK, and then he went to JSN on the regular. Geno in this offense I do like, especially without a Kenneth Walker III. They struggled to run the football, which means they will be throwing a lot, and I do like Geno as a streaming quarterback as well. Sam Darnold, 38 points in 2 games, 10% ownership. You could do a lot worse than Sam Darnold right now. I don't know what's going on. Man, O'Connell, the head coach in Minnesota, needs to get his flowers because he is doing a hell of a job with the quarterbacks. He's had Dobbs. He's had, what's the other guy's name? His name evades me. The guy that used to play in San Francisco. Unbelievable what O'Connell is able to do with these lesser quarterbacks. And Sam Darnold looks at least somewhat rejuvenated. We got to watch on a Justin Jefferson if he is going to miss time. Said he felt good today on Monday, so it's good. So we'll see how it does go. But Sam Darnold, absolutely for streaming quarterbacks, 110%, especially against a 49ers defense, and he was able to do what he did. I do like it quite a bit. Justin Fields continues to rise up my board as he is, the game manager role. They're testing a little bit. Justin Fields had 2 absolute dimes, big boy throws this past week, called back on penalties. One was an absolute gorgeous toss, one of the best throws you will see, tightest of windows, and Pickens absolutely just standing there, and he could have ran down the field and put it in his hands any better than that. Justin Fields absolutely rising. I would be shocked if Russell Wilson sees the field because they want to move forward with a Justin Fields. Deshaun Watson, Okay, if you need a quarterback, you're in super flex leagues, and he's still there, 28%. I mean, 20 points right now absolutely is warranting at least consideration for starting upside. He's getting Jerry Jeudy involved. Yes, Amari Cooper hasn't gotten involved just yet, but I mean, he hadn't played football in quite some time, looked a lot better in week 2 than he did in week 1, so the Brownies may be on the rise at this point. Deshaun Watson absolutely can be started if you are struggling at the quarterback spot. Gardner Minshew, I'm still not there yet, but at least he's on the watch list right now. Likewise with an Andy Dalton. I mean, Dalton taking over for a Bryce Young. Unbelievable, shocking news today that Bryce Young is being benched after only 18 starts. Okay, and I get it. It's justifiable with a Bryce Young. It has not looked good on the field. Looks absolutely piss poor. We'll see if Andy Dalton does give him a better shot to win, which does increase and inflate a lot of these players, like a Deontay Johnson, like an Adam Thielen. The run game may start getting supported, so we will see how it does go. Xavier Legette might get some more. So it is a good news situation for fantasy football. You just got to feel for Bryce Young. His soul absolutely is gone from that last game. You saw in his eyes just no confidence whatsoever. And then Skylar Thompson, on the bottom of the barrel. I am not picking him up at this point, but I get it, man. If you're in deeper leagues, you need a quarterback. Skyler will likely be there for you. Wide receiver time. It is Demarcus Robinson with all the injuries these LA Rams have. Oh my goodness. 28% ownership right now, 12 points on the board. No Cooper Kupp. He's likely going to IR for quite some time. Still no Puka. We know this. So it's going to be Demarcus Robinson. It's going to be Tyler Johnson. It's going to be Tutu Atwell. It's going to be Whittington, that rookie from Texas. They're going to have to try to make something out of nothing here, and Demarcus Robinson gets the biggest upside as he does have the most trust with a Matthew Stafford. Definitely pick him up this week. Likewise, with these 49ers, we saw Debo goes down with a calf injury, and Juwan Jennings is going to be the biggest benefactor here. No CMC, no Debo. They will struggle to move the football, but I was telling y'all last week on Start Sit, I'm a big supporter of a Jennings, and I think he is absolutely underrated. If we wanted to see what this man could potentially be in the NFL, now is his opportunity. If he fails, I mean, okay, it's all on him. I got a lot of faith in this man. 13.6 points on 5.4% ownership. Get Jennings on your team, because for the next 2 weeks, we could see some good fruit bearing coming from him in good point totals. Darnell Mooney, man, it was a full Mooney last night on Monday Night Football. And I'm telling y'all, Darnell Mooney, I was a big fan based on his ADP and the fact that these Atlanta Falcons hopefully are going to turn a corner. I get it, okay? The defense in Philadelphia, like I was saying early on in the show, just did not stop these Atlanta Falcons on that last drive. Just absolute Swiss cheese. And I mean, I get it. They're playing I believe the Chiefs next week, but at least they're building in the right direction. When you're talking about a team that's got a new head coach, new regime, new players, you guys need an identity. They're trying to build that, and beating a team like the Philadelphia Eagles, no matter how you win it, if you won it the way that they did, driving down the field and scoring a winning touchdown, this builds a lot of confidence, especially for a guy like Darnell Mooney, who, basically left Chicago with his tail between his legs. It was a good move. Darnell Mooney definitely is on my radar. Quentin Johnston. Okay, they fixed his hands, man. He scored 2 tutties last week, if I'm not mistaken, 6.1%. And I mean, this offense in LA is going to be absolutely up and down. It is like the Michigan Wolverines. It is super run heavy under John Harbaugh, and they're making Justin Herbert look like J.J. McCarthy, like he was in Michigan. So, I mean, take it with a grain of salt. Quentin Johnston is going to have his games. They'll likely spread the ball around. I'm not rushing to the waiver wire to get a Quentin Johnston, but I will get him on my bench because I think the upside is definitely there. Showcase the fact he's still catching with his body, so they will be drop passes. Quentin definitely is now back on the radar and absolutely can be put on your roster. Alec Pierce, 34 points, and I do not like it, but he just scores 2 touchdowns in consecutive weeks, I should say. It's just Anthony Richardson, man. He's so raw. And as these defenses start to figure it out, you're going to see exactly what you saw last week in Green Bay. Struggles to move the football through the air. Struggles with his reads. Passes behind his wide receivers. Overthrows over their heads. Easy ones. He's got some time. He's got to, learn the game, learn how to throw. And I told you, what was the crazy stat? 477 passes since his senior season in high school up until last year. Unbelievably raw, man. He needs more passes, more, time to learn. So Pierce will get his touches, will get his looks. We had to wait till garbage time for that Pierce touchdown to happen anyway. So I'm telling y'all, it's going to be big time boomer bust. So if you want Pierce, it's up to you. I'm kind of lukewarm on him at this point. Jalen Naylor said it on Start Sit last week. I'm a big fan, always have been. I believe back at the MSU days, loved his game. and he's a great supportive piece. Yes, they got, Addison was out, so he saw his role increase. Addison, we'll see what his health is like. JJ said he's okay, so as long as Addie's gone, Naylor is definitely a play that you can put in your wide receiver 3 or flex option, especially with how good Sam Darnold is playing. So Naylor is definitely one of these guys that you can pick up and stick in your lineup if you are dealing with a lot of injuries. Keep in mind, as long as Addison is out still with that ankle injury. Tyler Johnson, like I said, with Demarcus Robinson, you're going to have to pick up somebody. Tyler Johnson, Demarcus Robinson, Tutu Atwell, all on my list. You guys pick your poison. If you miss out on Robinson, I would say that Johnson is your number 2 for PPR upside, and then a Tutu Atwell for boomer bust upside and speed touchdown potential. That's kind of how I'm going to rank these Rams receivers at this point, and then Whittington number 4. So at this point, it's Robinson, Johnson, Tutu is going to be my standard right here. 11% for Johnson and 1% for Tutu. You can absolutely get these guys off the waiver wire. Noah Brown, he graces my list once again. The commies are looking for that secondary wide receiver, and Noah Brown looked okay last week, and Jaden Daniels, he was actually finding guys down the field in the pass game, which is pluses for me. I do like it a lot. The fact that they traded away a Jahan Dotson, and now they're looking for the secondary piece. Terry McLaurin's not seeing no love, so it is Noah Brown back on my radar. Up to you if you want to pick him up right now. For me, he's on the watch list. Gabriel Davis. It's not looking good in Jacksonville right now. Not going to lie. Not going to sugarcoat it. But at least he's getting you, 7 points a week? It's just not great. Until they actually figure their stuff out, Trevor Lawrence even said, right now we suck. Yes, you do, sir. You guys suck big time. And Gabe Davis at 48%, just not near enough for me to promote a start at this point. Wan'Dale Robinson, again, another one. While they did have 18 targets to a Malik Neighbors last week, Robinson did find his way into the end zone again, 8 points back-to-back weeks, so there is trust and flex appeal here as well. You can do a lot worse with how the stats have been piss poor in the first 2 weeks of the NFL season. Record low passing TDs, passing yards, red zone efficiency for all NFL teams across the board going in the first 2 weeks of the NFL season. So, Wan'Dale to me, yes, the stat line looks okay. It's just going to be hit or miss with a Daniel Jones. Daniel Pennies, I don't trust it. And then Jahan Dotson on the bottom, just on the watch list because A.J. Brown likely going to miss 2 to 3 weeks with that hamstring injury. Finishing off with tight ends, Mike Gesicki, and the tight end group has been terrible so far this year. At least Gesicki, the greatest point of it, he at least is looking in the right direction of targets from a Joey B. Jamar Chase just looks completely uninterested. Yes, we got T. Higgins potentially coming back this week. Andrei Iosivas is making plays, making waves. It's one of those situations. I can't believe I didn't have Andrei Iosivas on my list, but he should be picked up. But if T. Higgins does come back, you could fade a Iosivas as well. But Mike Gesicki absolutely is one of these dudes I think that is going to continue to get looks down the field. He's got the upside in this offense as well. So as they continue to grow with the chemistry, his role could absolutely increase. Luke Schoonmaker, what did I say? I'm doing my victory lap. Yes, it was only 7.3 points on the half PPR. That's better than a lot of tight ends got you in any single week, man. As long as Jake Ferguson is out with that injury, he may return this week, which absolutely downs my pleasure here for Schoonmaker. But I told y'all, man, in Dallas, Dak loves his tight ends, and he will continue to utilize them. Schoonmaker is, reminiscent to me of a Dalton Schultz, and he is a very talented player. You guys see that one-handed catch he made? He is pluses for me. I think eventually they could even move on from a Ferguson, and Schoonmaker will be the number 1 tight end in Dallas. Keep that in mind. Hunter Henry. Okay, everyone's going to rush and say he's the number 1 tight end player available. I'm not buying it. We've seen this storyline too many times. He booms huge in a contest, and then he fades for 3 weeks. So it is matchup dependent for me. A team that does not play tight ends well, that's when you go and scoop up a Hunter Henry. At this point, if you lost an Evan Ingram and you're scrambling for a tight end, I understand, going for the upside of TDs with a Hunter Henry is definitely there. Colby Parkinson, much like all the Rams wide receivers, his role should increase now with no Cooper Kupp. Again, no Puka Nacua. So we will see how it does go. The Rams just look terrible. They got no offensive line. Everybody's injured, so you're going to have to keep that with a grain of salt. While I do like Parkinson, I'm kind of fading him down my board right now as a wide receiver. Should get more targets than the tight end. Zach Ertz comes back to life with 12.5 points in 2 contests with a Jaden Daniels. It's not bad. It's not great, but 6.25 points per game. You could do a lot worse than that. Like I said, you guys go look at the stat line for half PPR tight ends. It is not a good landscape right now. And then Jonnu Smith on the bottom. At least we saw what he was able to do with Tua before he went down. Excuse me, and now that Skylar Thompson is likely going to be the starting quarterback, safety blanket appeal is absolutely here with a Jonnu Smith. So for me, there is upside here because there will be safety blanket appeal. There likely will be, check down opportunities, garbage time productivity. Can Skylar, support a Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle? I mean, we'll see. He played all right when he was called upon last season, but I'm telling y'all, it is such a shitty situation. A crappy situation. I do not like it whatsoever, but Jonnu Smith right now is the last one on my board. But there you have it. That is week 3 waiver wire must-add players. It is a problem. So many injuries, and I mean, you got to start handcuffing your running backs. That's the biggest advice I can say because these guys right now are made of glass and they are going down in drones. We got to protect ourselves because, I mean, we got to get those points somehow. But nevertheless, as always, don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, jump in those comments, give me your thoughts, and we'll see you next time. I am out.